Today's intro, a totally new view, because guess what? Today, I get to do a review! Oh, I should really quit trying to rhyme. Well, hello there everybody, I'm Photo Dave, and this is Toypixx, and that's a ring light. And whether this is your first or 100th time on the channel, Toypixx is all about helping you and helping me get a whole lot better at our action figure photography. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and click subscribe while I describe what's going on here. Don't need much description. I finally got another figure, which means I get to finally review a figure. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the G.I. Joe Classified number 37 Cobra Officer, and I'm super stoked. So, without further ado, let's just get to it. Yeah, really, that rhyming thing, it's gotta go. First things first, this is going to be a somewhat unfair review because the Cobra Trooper is probably in the top 3 favorite figures of Classified so far. So this guy, using a lot of the Cobra Trooper stuff, he's going to be way up there. So I'm just admitting biases right up front. But look at the texture on his arms. They're, I think, at least the upper arms are the same as the Trooper. I'll make sure and do a comparison here in this review. And then the harness has all kinds of wicked detail. Something I noticed on the back here. Oops, as I try to knock everything down. One, this is a separate piece, the holster that the gun goes in, the AK looking gun. But then all this stuff down here around his waist, you can plug in magazines, the scope, all kinds of stuff. Just like a lot of other Classified figures, this guy can hold all his stuff on him. Very cool. This is the same piece that came with the Target exclusive Cobra Trooper, the armband. It just is painted differently, so it's pretty sweet. This has that sigil up front. Very awesome. I dig that in a huge way. His head is a different head. Its skin tone slightly different. He's got legs. I figure you know that. I believe the boots might be changed. But like I said, we'll do a comparison later on. Overall, he's just very cool. He's textured out real nicely. The pants texture is always appreciated. I know that it's reuse, but still looks good. The texture on his shirt there looks really good. The wrinkles. All the detail. I just love the detail. Details like that really make for great photos. Like you can see how the light's hitting the sigil there. Because it's raised like that, it's casting a little bit of shadow, and because it's silver, it's letting some shine go. It's just, let's see here. It's those little details that make for some great photography. All the details again on the harness. Just very, very cool. And let's look at his face a little clearer here. Look at that. Whew! That is one vicious dude. Don't mess with this Cobra Officer, people. He will mess you up. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, number 37 in your programs, the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Officer. Now, just to be clear, if you're looking for a hardcore review, this is not where you want to be. But if you're looking for a review from someone who gets figures based on their action figure photography potential, this is exactly where you want to hang out. I'll be looking more at how well he moves. I'll be looking at how well he can express himself. Texture, paint. I'll be looking at accessories, all that good stuff. So it's kind of like a normal review, but with a much more emphasis on action figure photography. Now, before I get started, G.I. Joe is just one of those lines that I've loved since I was a kid. These things are awesome. My one wish that wish that they would do, and you've heard me talk about it in videos in the past, is add fists and maybe some relaxed hands or some gun supporting hands, things like that. They don't need to do a lot to make this what could be the perfect line out there. And I'm talking, I love Moth-X, and I think Moth-X right now is the perfect line out there. It would not take much, especially at the price point, for Classified to take over. But, yeah, these are really cool figures. So, let's get to this, huh? Now it's all about how well this guy moves. He has pretty much the same articulation as the Trooper, so if you have either the Trooper or the Cobra Infantry, you have a good idea, but there is one huge improvement, and it's because of the way they did the harness. So check this out. Because they did the harness like that, where it's not connecting kind of over the waist, you get a whole lot more of this. In fact, the fact you get any of that is an improvement over the Trooper and the Cobra Infantry. Very good stuff. I hope that in the future Hasbro starts making their harnesses and their overlays so there's just enough space in between the waists and the belt so they can all get that kind of range of motion. That just makes it a lot more fun to photograph those guys. Right now, they're kind of standing straight up, which makes sense. If you're wearing that much armor, yeah, you're going to be standing straight up, but all you can really move is a little bit at the waist, their arms, their legs, heads, you know. Just that just really hinders it a little bit, and I hope they make that change. But that was the big one. Then, of course, you've got everything else going. You got a great bend there, I think. You got the drop downs. Show me drop down. There we go. Whew, which gives you a little bit. You do that with the bend at the waist, and oh boy, this guy can he can kick things. Good times. Nothing too crazy. You can get all the movement you need for some kind of cool shooting pose, some kind of cool getting knocked out pose. I know that just because I've had the Cobra Troopers for forever. So, just all kinds of fun to be had with all of these things. Let's see. Whoop, whoop. No. I don't even know what kind of pose to go for here. I am no poser on camera. This is fair. I am only a poser when I get in front of the static camera, not so much the video camera. So there's just a little bit to know about articulation. Like I said, I'm not going over all of it because, hey, this ain't that kind of review. Now, with the officer way back there, let's check out the accessories. First up, we have his helmet, which is different than the Trooper. Very cool stuff. It's got that raised insignia there to denote that he is, in fact, an officer, which I'm a big fan of. We have the AK-ish 47. I love how my camera just jumps like that when I try and show off weapons like this. Let's see here if we get something better going. There we go. Stop jumping! But yeah, that's a sweet gun. It's got a little bit of brown going on. Good stuff. It has a scope on it that comes on it out of the package. And I didn't want to do anything with that scope. Like, I didn't want to take it off the gun. Come on, gun. Focus. Focus! There we go, maybe-ish. Anyway, I didn't want to take it off the gun because that's how you can put it in the holster, but it's kind of a pain to put back on. So I'm just leaving it. He'll probably always hold it anyway. So there's that. Try and get through this a little faster than that one took. We have this gun. Also very cool. You can see a slot in there for the magazine. There's also a magazine that goes in the previous gun. You have good old-fashioned pistol. Cobra needs their pistols, right? Ooh. That's one of the things I love about G.I. Joe are all the accessories. Like, they don't have hands, they don't have heads, but they do have a whole lot of weapons for him. And they mostly store on the figures. That's a nice knife there. A little painted up. And then I'll just show one of these, but there are two of these magazines. Like I said, one will go in the AK looking gun, and the other one goes in the other more sci-fi looking gun, I suppose. So yeah, he comes with a lot of stuff, and I'm a big fan of that. And here's the comparison the whole world's been waiting for. I mean, the whole world that hasn't seen any of these months-long reviews yet that are already out there. This is the Cobra Officer and the Cobra Trooper. Now, right away, if we look at them, we can see that their helmets are a lot different from each other. Let's see here. Come on, focus. There we go. We can see that the helmets are a lot different. We can see, if we really zoom in and look at their faces, let's bring him in too, that the sculpting there is different. You've got a mask versus almost what looks like a breather on there. You've got the goggles on the Cobra Trooper, but that's more an accessory. That's not really a sculpting difference. But yeah, the helmets are definitely different. I think if we look on, well, whoa, hey, don't be too mad at him there, officer. If we look at him on this side, if we look at their arms, you can see that the trooper has more arm guard type stuff, whereas the officer has more gloves. The arms, other than that, look pretty much the same. I'm not going to pop it off to see if it's just a separate piece. I'm just not that guy. Obviously, the overlay is different, as I talked about earlier. If we look at the knee pads, let's see. I think the knee pads might be the same, but the overlays on the boots, again, you've got kind of the patent leather boots on the officer, and you've got more of the shin guard style on the trooper. So there are some differences, some sculptural differences here. I would be willing to bet that underneath the overlay that the trooper has probably isn't another sigil like the officer has. But yeah, those are your differences, but check them out. I mean, these two, they just go really well together, and I'm having to hold up the officer because I didn't balance them like I should have. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm kind of sick. These are the figures that I would end up just army building like mad if I could. Like, I was reading up on the military, and in the U.S., you generally have one officer for every 4 enlisted soldiers and all that. So I was looking at that, and I'm like, okay, so I need 1 officer and 4 troopers. So for every 1 officer, that's 4 troopers. That gets pricey. I do, however, have 8 troopers, so now I have another officer on pre-order. Should be here today or tomorrow. Hopefully I can stop myself after that. But yeah, these are just sweet, sweet figures. Right. Okay, I'm not going to go too crazy with size comparisons here. We all know that we'll probably be using this guy mostly with our G.I. Joes, although for me, I tend to use these Cobra Troopers, and I'm sure the officer will make it as cannon fodder for other heroes and all that good stuff. But, anywho, here he is with the other 2 Cobra Troop builders I have, aside from the Cobra Trooper himself, but hey, they're pretty much the same figure, so I didn't include them. So yeah, here he is with the Bat and the Alley Viper. And now here's the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Officer with several other figures from the Classified line of differing heights. We have the big guy in Roadblock, we have the average-sized duder in Destro, and we have the female figures in Lady J. Now, I wanted to put Baroness or Scarlet here, but they don't have double elbows, so I ended up selling them off. I do hope that Hasbro will come around and redo the Baroness and Scarlet with double elbows, maybe a different look. I ain't picky. I just want double elbows and a little bit of bicep swivel. But that, folks, is your size comparison. So final thoughts on this guy. As I said at the beginning of this review, I am biased. The Cobra Trooper is one of my absolute favorite figures from the G.I. Joe Classified line, and this guy's basically the Cobra Trooper with a little more paint and a lot more rank, I suppose. So I'm just over the moon thrilled with this thing. Like I said, I have another one on pre-order. That'll make 2 officers and 8 Cobra Troopers. I'll have a fairly respectable Cobra army that way. But yeah, I'm just really stoked. I can't wait to put him in front of the lens a few more times. I've already thrown him in front of it once, and I can't wait to shoot him again. It's going to be that this is going to turn into like a classified channel if I'm not careful, because those figures, they just keep knocking it out of the park. The designers for this line do an incredible job. Each time I get one, I'm blown away. Yes, I wish they had more hands. Yes, I wish they had more heads. It just adds to expression in photography, and maybe they're going to make a move to improve that for us. But right now, most of Hasbro's lines, for me, aren't worth what they're charging. But Classified is definitely worth what they're charging. So I'm a huge fan, and obviously a huge fan of this trooper. So, comment below. Let me know what you think of this guy. Let me know what you think of Classified overall. And as always, I'll be making sure to leave a link to all this stuff in the video description below, as well as the surprise ridiculous thingy, which is where I find something goofy on Amazon to give you a chuckle. And if you're on Amazon already, go ahead and shop, buy whatever you want using any of those links. It'll help out the channel, and please remember that July 12th and 13th are Amazon Prime Days, which means that you can use any of the links on any of these videos and save yourself some money. So yeah, that would be good times. That could help out the channel too. As always, folks, thanks a ton for watching. Thanks a ton for subscribing. The subscriber count is really going nuts lately, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Liking, please go ahead and share this video if you're digging the content, and hey, as always, have fun and happy snapping. See ya. Oh, and Cobra!